introduce you to Autodesk Inventor, which would be the next step up from the 123D design that you've been using to do your 3D modeling. So when you log into a desktop computer in the STEM lab, you've been going to this 123D design, and that brings up your screen that looks like this. And when you model on 123D design, you're modeling in kind of solid shapes and bringing them in and looping them together. Today, like I said, I'm going to introduce you to Autodesk Inventor Professional, which would be the next step up, and it's giving you a lot more opportunities and options of how to model those things. So you would open this iPro icon on your desktop. It does take a minute or two to load, so I've loaded it in advance so that it's ready to go and you don't have to just sit here and watch it load. But if it's not loading right away on your screen, be patient. It is a big program with lots of features, so it takes a little bit of time to get it up and running. When you go into Inventor, you're going to see the screen that says Welcome to Inventor. If you want to watch their tutorials, you can certainly say Start Learning. Otherwise, I've taped some tutorials for you to watch that are me talking you through it, and so you could say Start Working instead. When you get to your opening screen then, it's going to show you that you can make some new things up here. In Inventor, you need to first make parts, and then you can assemble those parts into a project, and from there create drawings and presentation files. So we're going to create a new part. I might end up with a couple of new parts here. And here we are now in my modeling screen. Now, you can see that this modeling screen looks a little bit different than the modeling screen you were on before. If you wanted to drag in solid shapes, there are a couple of solid shapes that you can drag in up here, but for the most part, what you're going to be doing is creating sketches on a sketch plane and then turning those sketches into three-dimensional figures. I have videos that show you each step of that, so I'm just going to make something quick so that I have something to save so that I can show you how to go about doing that. So we'll just make a cylinder quickly here. On top of that cylinder, we'll put a box. And that's all we'll do for now. It doesn't need to be complicated to show you the next step. In Inventor, a couple of things along the side are going to be some of your navigation tools. So if you want to kind of grab that shape and move it, you're going to click on the hand. And now I can grab and move that shape. If you want to spin the shape, you're going to use this little orbit thing here. Now when I click and hold, I can rotate that shape in whatever direction I might want to rotate it in. I'm going to use the wheel on my mouse to zoom in and out. So if I roll the wheel forward, it's pushing it away from me. If I roll the wheel back towards me, it's pulling it back towards me. Similar to 123D, you have this box up in the corner that's going to help you view it from the different sides. And so if I want to reset a view, I can use my box up in the corner to navigate what that might look like. When I'm done for the day, I need to save my design. I'm going to go up to File. I'm going to click Save As. And this is the key. Right now it says Save in My Documents, and that's under the Mary Iwanski header. If I save it there, it's going to save it specifically on the computer that I'm using. So I would always have to come back and use computer number 7 in this case to find my design. If you look farther down in the list, there should be a drive that's your last name and first initial, kind of like your computer login. So here's my Iwanski M drive. When I click on that, I'm now saving this project to my drive instead of my drive on this computer. Now this isn't your Google Drive, this is your kind of stored in hardware drive in the school. And so don't look for it in your Google Drive later. But if you save it in your one that's your last name and then your first initial, it will travel with you if you decide to sit at a different computer next time. So I'm going to call it sample project, and now it's saved. If I close out of that program then, thinking for a minute, I'm going to close out, close out. Now next time when I want to go back and work on my project again, it might be down here in your recent documents, or you might have to go to open and then find it in your projects. So make sure when you're naming it something that makes sense. You can make really complex things on Inventor. You guys are going to start with just a sketch cube that's going to teach you some of the basic pieces that you need to make, but eventually you could start making more complicated designs that would have more features on them. I look forward to seeing what you're able to create.